podcast, Everything Ottawa Senators and Beyond is here. Here are your hosts, Raph and Peter.
Yes, that's right, and welcome to another episode of the No Timers podcast. My name is Raph, he is Pete.
Hello.
We're doing a live on location podcast because we were having issues recording, so we're doing it this way.
Basically, my Wi-Fi is crap.
Pretty much. So we're gonna do a live on location. Should be fun and interesting, and at least we'll know what's happening and no delays, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, Pete. So welcome to episode 11. We are now officially sponsored. We now have a sponsor, the DraftKings. We're also now a proud partner of the Hockey Podcast Network, so thank you to them. And we are excited to be part of this network. They are a big Hockey Podcast Network, and we are very proud to be part of it. So, Peter, we are here today, episode 11, talking about, we're 2 weeks away from the end of the season here. I pre-named this episode already. It's called An Eclipse of the Season. Just basing it on events that happened this week already.
Yep, very topical.
Very topical because I feel that this season has been an eclipse in what can actually happen with this team.
Yep.
Right? We can be a decent team. So it's just been a long 7-year eclipse.
But hopefully it's passing now, right?
Hopefully.
And it's also to add to that metaphor, you see that ray of hope surrounding it. It's there.
Yeah, you can
There's
see
hope still.
You can see the light behind the big 7-year moon that is the Sens last 7 seasons. It's there. It's just gonna be a matter of time of when it's gonna start moving away, and we can actually have to put our glasses back on and look at the sun. Okay, cool. So, Pete, let's quickly talk about last week. You and I can see it here live, but for our viewers on YouTube, they won't be able to see it, so we will just do this.
Whoa.
Yeah, there we go. So last week we had could have been worse, could have been better.
Yeah.
We did go 1-3. I think you predicted that last week. What are your thoughts on what we ended up seeing last week from the Sens?
You summed up pretty well. It's like getting better, kind of worse with where the season has gone, and just how this team has played. Overall, not bad. The only things that kind of suck from last week were obviously the game against Florida. 6-0 is always
brutal,
not fun, especially get at home.
Yeah, it was at home.
And it kind of spilled over a bit in the first period against New Jersey, but they were able to kind of finally wake up, push back on that. Brady had, was it? I can't remember if he tied or he broke the record.
He broke the record
for most hits in a game. I think it was 16.
Yeah.
So
Buddy was on fire.
And then that, that kind of spilled over on the game for Washington a bit. That one was kind of wasn't like anything crazy.
No.
But it was kind of nice to maybe potentially spoil a playoff for Washington there to get that extra point.
Although I think Washington is now in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
After the events of this week, we are recording this one day or during the day of the Sens game, the Florida game again. So we'll see what happens there with them. But not much hope really left in the season. Honestly, maybe the only thing now is drop a couple places, see if we can get a better drop
see
pick.
If we can, basically drop below Montreal. I think
that's
the hope.
I think we are, if I'm not mistaken, I think we are now tied with Montreal in points. So let's just quickly take a look at the standings here while we're here. Okay, we're technically ahead, but we're tied. So if they win one more and we lose one more, we flip. So
important game Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, Habs and Sens battle of the Eastern basement. Let's see what happens there. But yeah. Last week 3-1. That Florida game was brutal. Nobody played well. It was just it was bad.
Yeah. I mean, Florida is a very good team.
They are.
So,
but
yeah.
It's like I mentioned before with Florida. We either beat the living snot out of them or they beat the living snot out of us.
There's no in between.
There's no in between. And this was the case. They smacked us around. So we'll see what happens tonight, Tuesday, against Florida in Florida. And then we'll jump right into next week, I guess, here quickly. And we'll talk about or this week, I guess, what's happening. So we got Florida tonight, April 11th on Thursday. Connor. Oh, I got the wrong picture. It's okay. It's Tampa. It's Tampa Bay, and then Montreal on Saturday. What do you think?
Tampa Bay Blackhawks.
Tampa Bay Blackhawks. Okay. You talk about the week, and I'll fix the thing.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, with another game against Florida, don't expect to win there. Just hope it's not as big of a blowout. Let's say, basically for the rest of the season, as long as Ottawa is competitive, because I think, so they're playing Tampa, they play Florida.
Yeah.
I think they play the Rangers and the Bruins as well next week.
Yeah, Rangers, Bruins, and then that's
the one game against Montreal. So
yeah,
four more games against playoff teams, and all I really want to see
Eastern teams too.
Yeah, Eastern teams. And you'd probably agree. You just want them to be competitive. You don't want those kind of blowout losses.
Yeah, exactly.
You want them to, stay in those games. With the goaltending as it is, they're probably going to give up a goal in the first two shots, and the team, aside from the goalies, the team can't control that. So what they can control is if it happens, and there's a good chance it will. Was it 21 games? It's happened this year.
21, yeah.
They just got to have that fight, that pushback to keep going, not let it deflate them and then let it spiral into something worse.
Yeah.
I feel like for the most part they do that fairly well. It's, obviously the goaltending just isn't where it needs to be to really get this team as is to the next level.
Where they should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking yesterday about what you think front office should do.
Yeah.
You and I have a little bit of opposing points on that. So I guess I'll go ahead. I believe that the first thing that the Sens should do is obviously get the head coach. I think we agree on that.
We agree there.
Secondly, goalie. Got to figure out the goalie situation to see what's happening with the goalie situation. If they're going to keep Forsberg, because Forsberg is probably the one that will be moved.
Yeah.
If I highly doubt they're going to move Korpisalo, but if they do end up buying out Korpisalo, sure. Get a goalie that can start and then move from defense up. So defense, goalie, D, and then the forwards. I think that's the order that it should go. But you disagree.
Yeah, I have a slight disagreement, and I'll frame it, or I'll say I disagree mostly because of that Korpisalo contract.
Yeah.
If that was something a bit more easy for this team to move, I would agree. After the head coach, they should try to, whether it be through a trade or an offseason signing, like free agent signing, get an established number one who's got like playoff experience, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't agree with that is because the Korpisalo contract is going to be hard to move. Yes, it's an option. They could buy him out, but I'm not convinced they'll do that. Maybe they will.
Hopefully.
So,
but probably not.
I mean, I would be happy if they go get someone else. Like, I don't think they'll bring Forsberg back. I agree with that.
Sorry, everybody.
But, and like I said, yeah, it'd be great if they could get one.
Yeah.
But I don't think that should be their next focus after a coach. I think I would tend more to try to find that veteran kind of stay-at-home defenseman to help out the starting
the right handy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and another reason or where my brain is at, why it thinks this way, you can agree or not, don't care, is in my mind, like good, consistent goaltending will get a good team into the playoffs.
Right.
And then a great, consistent goaltending will win you a few rounds, maybe even get you to the finals, and potentially win you the cup.
Yeah.
But you still need a good team in front of that goalie to really win the whole thing, win the cup. Because ultimately, playoffs would be great, but ultimately, we want the cup.
Of course.
We want to win. We want to be champions.
Well, yeah, that's the end goal, right?
And it is very rare, correct me if I'm wrong, where a goalie by himself is going to just drag a team to that. Like, the only examples I can think of are, like, Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh in his rookie year, and I think Brodeur, the first time Jersey won a cup. Like, other times, they've been close, like Hasek with Buffalo was very close. But he only got that cup when he finally got traded to, or can't remember if it was traded or signed
Detroit
with a very good team in front of him.
Yeah.
He was able to both the team and the goalie can elevate the entire team to the promised land.
Okay.
So that's where my head's at.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you there. Defense is very important because if you don't have defense, it doesn't matter what's going to happen. But you were mentioning those goalies, and I was thinking Carey Price. Yeah. 2021, that Montreal team should not have gotten to the cup final.
Carey Price dragged.
he literally dragged that whole team on his back.
Yeah.
They only didn't win because Tampa ended up being better, and they did get out goalie by Vasilevsky, but Carey Price did carry that team. But yeah, I agree with you on that part that the goalie by himself will not do it. But come on, you got to have a good goalie, right?
You do.
It doesn't matter if you have,
like I said,
if you have like Makar and Carlson and the world's best D-men, and you have a Korpisalo in that that's going to, you know.
Like I said, that's why I go back. The main reason I'm saying it shouldn't be their next focus out of the coach is because of that contract.
Yeah.
And also, there's a little bit of just the history with like Ottawa trying to find a goalie. The past few seasons, then it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Granted,
Ottawa is known as the goalie graveyard, right?
Yeah. Granted, a lot of them weren't necessarily established number ones.
Yeah.
Matt Murray, but he was like, he's already, you could argue, past his prime. He had injuries.
Yeah.
Talbot, he had some playoff experience, but I don't think he ever won a round with Minnesota. I'm not sure. Maybe one.
Well, Talbot played with like Edmonton, Calgary.
Yeah.
He played with a bunch of people. I think he did win a couple rounds with Edmonton and Calgary, but still, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We talk about this every episode, and even when we're not talking on episodes, it's what happens with goalies in Ottawa. We don't know, man. Is it the D that's really, really bad, or is it just
at the beginning of the year?
Is it the winter?
At the beginning of the year, I was definitely part of it. It's like, no, it's the D. The D is bad.
Yeah.
But with Jacques coming in, and then the team finally, like, for the most part, have like bought in. Like, they've been working on improving their puck management. It has exposed more of the goaltenders just not elevating their game to where it needs to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's something wrong with goalies that come to Ottawa. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next year, if we do end up getting that right D, like you said, one or two right D, to help the top four there. I think it'll definitely help us. In the long run.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on here, folks, just got, like I said at the beginning, we now have sponsors. So as a good sponsee, here's a word from our sponsors.
We know hockey games move fast. But with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. For example, Ottawa versus Florida on the money line. Ottawa is at +200 while Florida is at -245. Do you want to bet on the over, under? Or how about puck line? There are many ways to place bets on DraftKings Sportsbook. See app for more information. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code THPN. New customers bet just $5 on the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE-NEW YORK 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League.
Perfect. Okay, Pete, moving on to our next topic here, maybe a little bit controversial. Something that happened last week in the Senators New Jersey game. Heischer ended up putting a puck into the empty net after the whistle, after the end of the game. I believe, and then before I even say what I believe,
Okay.
all the Leaf fans on Twitter and Habs fans were complaining and being like, "Oh, now you guys care about an empty net, blah 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 blah." It's different, man. I think it's different. The buzzer had gone. By the time it hit zero, Buddy was like 2 feet from the blue line. He could have just let it go, skated away, put the puck into a corner, or anything. No, but he skated towards the net and, gently placed it in the net. And I think Brady Tkachuk was right to go after him, because why would you do that? That's disrespectful, not what Ridley Gregg did, because Ridley Gregg scored an illegal goal. There was time left on the clock, and then he got decked in the head. So that's my view on it. What do you think?
So, I have a slightly opposing view.
Great. Yes,
first
I
off, yes, they are different, but they're the same. So
a little bit.
they're different in that the Heischer goal didn't count, and it was just like
and he got a penalty out of it too.
yeah, he did get a penalty and all that kind of stuff. He didn't even slap it in.
No, he gently placed it.
Yeah. But it's the same, and more so like with the reaction and the controversy. That's where it's the same. And I can understand people saying it's disrespectful and all that stuff. And I don't mind Brady getting heated. I mean, it was also like a very tough loss, I would say.
Yeah,
and it was fan appreciation night. Obviously not a thing they want, the fans to go home with.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to Brady getting angry. And also different, he didn't cross-check him in the head.
Exactly, Brady. That's how you should do it. You got fight the guy. Don't
fight the guy or push a shove, talk smack. Don't cross-check him in the head or even aim for the head.
No need for that.
My opinion is more of how I kind of agree a bit with I'd say it with the Toronto Montreal fans, of Ottawa fans getting all heated up on this because in the end, if you don't want a empty net goal to be scored,
right? Don't put yourself in that place.
Yeah.
I get it.
And I would almost say, even though I said I think it's fine for Brady because of just a rough game, kind of getting all up in there.
Yeah.
At the same time, because the goal didn't even count, why do you even care?
Yeah, but like it's literally a rule that's written.
Yeah,
you cannot shoot pucks in the empty net after or net.
But he got the penalty. He got the discipline. You already lost.
Yeah,
just whatever.
I'd
say, like I said, at the same time, it's good to see the captain Brady. Like he cares. Like I said, tough loss. He cares.
And Brady carried that game, man. So
I'm not, not saying he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
it'd be different if you cross-checked him in the head.
Yeah, no,
but he didn't. So that's where the big difference is. But just me personally, it's like I just don't care. There's no, whether it's you slap an empty net and it counts, or you gently skate it in when it doesn't count and you get a penalty. Like me personally, it's just, it doesn't really mean much to me.
Like I don't know. I think, for example, let's say he's at the blue line when the clock hits 0, or like a split second before he puts it towards the empty net. I don't think that'd be that much of an issue. But the amount of time that he had between the buzzer going and him going towards the net is where I think that Brady got mad about it, because there's no necessity for that, I don't think.
But also, like, think about it. Like, it's basically just like another way of chirping.
Sure,
chirping going on in the game. Like, he got a reaction out of it. Like, and he's probably like, I'll take that 2-minute penalty or whatever it was.
Well, he didn't even serve it because the game was over, right?
Yeah,
It just goes on his record, if you will. So
like he's like, it's like I get this for free, basically.
Pretty much.
And now he's inside your head.
He's inside your head. Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know. It's something that I thought was a little bit unnecessary. Like I said, if it was like a second and a half or a second before.
Both instances
probably would have been fine.
You can easily argue both instances is unnecessary, but it happened.
Yeah. And
just my opinion, I don't care either way.
Yeah. All right.
Imagine like the combination of like he slapped it in and it wasn't even.
If he slapped it in after the buzzer, then oh man,
I'd be laughing.
I'd be laughing. It would be funny, but still, Brady would. I think the whole team will go berserk because only Brady went after him, and then everybody else went after him afterwards, right? So.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of guy Brady is. Like,
yeah.
He's gonna lead by example. Obviously, there are some fans who maybe don't like it. Like, I would say, like, he's still immature, but he's still.
What, he's 24 now.
Yeah,
he's 10 years younger than us.
Like,
we're still immature.
It's like shit. Like, imagine we were 24 when in that position. We'd probably do the exact same. Thing. It's good to see that passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. But Brady did carry that game, so his emotion was very high.
Yeah.
He got 2 goals. He got 16 hits. Buddy was on fire. So I understand it from Brady's point. I don't understand it from Heischer's point. Like I said, he had plenty of time to get rid of it, or just leave it and skate away. But anyway, it is what it is.
He's just added on the list of all the players that they don't like. Like, what was that? It's like, who's got the most punchable face? It was Nick Cousins that all the players voted for.
Yeah.
Maybe Heischer just jumps up that list now. I don't know.
Yeah. It's Anyway, Heischer's up there now. Okay, let's talk quickly here. I think this is probably our last segment. Playoffs are coming up. Sens are out of it, of course.
Yeah,
mathematically, they've been eliminated, I think, 2 games ago. What do you think the Sens should do? We have 4 games left now? 4 or 5 games left, counting
5.
Counting tonight's games. So 5 games left. Should the Sens play spoiler for some teams? So, like, for example, try to get Detroit out of it. Should they just keep winning? Should they lose? Last 4 games, what do you think they should do? Should they help some of the teams out?
Playing spoiler is always fun, whether who you're spoiling. Because, there's Washington, Detroit. I can't remember if it's Pittsburgh or the Islanders.
Islanders, yeah.
They're all, like, in there. I think Philly, too.
Philly a little bit. They're further down than they really wanted to be.
They're all kind of next to each other. So as a team, I don't know if they could make a consensus together, be like, we're going to spoil for this one specific team, right? As a fan, you can do that. I'm sure a lot of fans don't want Detroit getting in.
No.
For me personally, that'd be hilarious just because I have a lot of Detroit friends.
Yeah.
So it's just like one of us, you got to live with it. You didn't make it too.
Yeah. Yeah, like and I guess like Detroit would be funny as just Sens in general, especially this year with the
DeBrincat,
going over there, and then the whole Larkin situation with Joseph and Perron with Zub.
If I read somewhere like his last 18
He hasn't scored in
games, he's
18
got
games.
like 1 goal, so it's like he had that hot start, and it's just kind of fizzled out. So
it's the cat of old age, the cat we know.
Yeah,
the cat we know and don't love so much. So you're welcome, Detroit fans.
It would be cool to see Pittsburgh or Washington make it. Pittsburgh obviously because of the Carlson connection.
Yeah.
Washington just because I kind of want to see if Ovechkin still got it in him, old man Ovechkin.
Yeah. And it's funny because we're looking at the standings right now, and it's going to be one of those, right? Because Tampa's already clinched it, so there's one spot left in the East. And it's between Washington, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Philly. So
technically, too, because at least between like Washington, Pittsburgh, Philly, and the Islanders, because there's still that last Metro spot.
That's true.
They're all kind of within each other.
Okay. So it could be 2. Yeah,
the Islanders could totally choke out.
They could.
Mostly, but
the Islanders have 1-4 though. So
I think with the situation where it's at now, and there's so many teams kind of close, and most of the teams that Ottawa is playing against have already clinched.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
New York, Boston.
I haven't had the time to really see if they win against like Florida tonight, how does that affect? I don't know what games those other teams are like. I don't see how that directly would
affect the standing. Yeah.
So for those, like I touched earlier, for those games, I think that's 4. I just want them to be competitive. Don't necessarily need to win. Just like keep it close. If they can get a win, great.
Yeah.
Just don't have a blowout. And then the one game against Montreal, it would depend on my mood. Because if I'm in the mood to tank, and Ottawa and Montreal are still close in the standings and points during that game, putting on my helmet, tank commander, lose that game. But at the same time, it's like, well, I think it's the last home game of the season.
It is, yeah. It's last Saturday night.
And it just feels good to beat Montreal. Like it does when you beat Toronto or Detroit, it just feels good. So depends on my mood.
Yeah. And speaking of like spoiling things for other teams, that game against Washington, I think like the whole Eastern Conference was watching that game, because with Washington winning or losing, it would either bump them up or down in terms of Detroit. So Washington did end up getting a point. So right now they are at 85. So that actually helped them bump up, and Detroit bumped down.
That must have been why they left that one curtain open. Everyone was wanting to get a peek.
Yeah, it was the pre-eclipse, man. It was they were like, "You want to see an eclipse? There you go, Corpusalo. Here's an eclipse for you."
That was hilarious.
Did you see the? I don't know if you saw the Sens post about the eclipse with Corpusalo and the eclipse glasses on.
He never took them off.
It was pretty fun. Yeah. Maybe that's what he's playing with all season. He can't see anything because those eclipse glasses. They
or he looked at an eclipse and now
he just sees the big black dot.
Glasses and,
yeah.
That's why he can never seem to catch.
Yeah.
Well, he can. But
he's been playing all right lately.
It's the consistency.
Yeah. One thing,
obviously giving up the goal.
Oh yeah. One thing I'm looking at here is that goal differential that Washington has. They're at -40, and they're a second wildcard team right now. That's insane, bro.
I'm looking at it. I mean, it helps. The Islanders are the same.
Yeah, -21. That's what.
No. I mean, like Pittsburgh and Philly, like they have a lot of loser points, like those OT.
Yeah.
Because if
11.
you scroll down. So I want to see. So Ottawa's got 34 wins. 34, yeah. And then, like, there only a few games. There's only a few points. Yeah, they only got 4 OT. Like, imagine that change. Like, they're probably still on a plus, but, they're a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer.
Yeah, we'd be up here because these didn't count for anything. Or these, because, like, Pittsburgh's got 12, Washington's got 11, Philly's got 11, even Montreal has 12, but they've lost a bunch more. New York Islanders with 15 loser points. yeah, those 1-point games, they add up, unfortunately, and that's killed us. And every time we did end up going, most of the time we did end up going to overtime, we won.
Yeah,
So,
because the team actually like
but we
tries.
yeah, we're 3-0 in shootouts, so we haven't lost a shootout this year. Doesn't have our overtime streak, but yeah, 3-on-3. If we play 3-on-3, 82 games, we'd be.
It really shows
probably
how skilled like the top guys are.
Yeah.
On Ottawa. And there have been cases where like the goalies actually make some huge saves in OT too.
Yeah.
Like they show up. And but like I kind of was saying, like I think we talked about in a past episode. Whenever Ottawa goes to OT, whether it's the coaches don't do the whole like they ruin the game by coaching, they almost like let them like go for it, like go get that goal.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that was a topic early in the season where like a lot of coaches just like they'll hold on to the puck, they'll wait for an opening, and then they'll just cycle back and forth and just wait. Where like if you watch like whenever Ottawa goes into OT, it's like no, we're going, and then the other team was like, well, we got to go too.
Yeah, it's like
and then
it's what happened against Washington, right?
Yeah,
Washington didn't touch the puck. I think they scored with like 40 seconds into the OT. Sandy was just like in the zone. He didn't come out of the zone, which was nice. But he was just circling to find space. Then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot it. And snipes it in. Beautiful goal by Sandy. There.
Well, like we went to that was the game against Vegas. That was here, and that went to OT. No one scored, but that both teams was just going back and forth. It was so intense.
That was intense. Yeah.
It is a shame that I understand. Like coaches, obviously they're trying to win.
Yeah.
And they'll coach in a way that gives them the best chance.
Yeah.
But it does end up being boring. That's where the whole like 1-3-1 system came up. Why Jersey dominated when they had Brodeur.
Yeah.
Where they had to change rules.
The whole trapezoid thing. It's called the Brodeur rule.
They got rid of the 2-line pass. Like, yeah.
Well, not anymore. I think you can do that now.
Yeah, no.
They got rid of it. Yeah.
To try to open it up.
Yeah. Those 2-3-line passes are beautiful to look at.
Oh.
I'm always trying to make them work in games. They never do. Every game, I try to make that Carlson loft pass to Hoffman. Yeah. It never works. Okay, so speaking of overtime, I just want to ask you a question. I think it's cool, but I think it's a little bit brutal to the team doing it. What is your opinion on teams pulling the goalie during overtime? Like Minnesota has done twice.
Right.
Once it's worked, once it hasn't. Do you think because the rule is like nobody knew this until Minnesota did it. If the team that pulls the goalie gets scored on, they get no points.
Oh.
So they lose that 1 point too. So if you pull the goalie in overtime, you get the extra attacker, and the team scores on your empty net, you get 0 points. You lose that. Yeah, you lose the loser point. I think I don't know. You're taking a risk, but is it big enough to lose that point? Because I know Minnesota, they needed every single point that they can get.
Yeah.
They're still technically sort of a little bit probably not in the fight. But what do you think? I don't know. I think it's a little bit harsh, but yeah.
It is harsh. Did anyone did the league ever say what their rationale was to have that rule?
No, it's just a rule that everybody found out was in the league at that day.
Because
not even the Minnesota players knew once the game was over.
Because I wonder about the rationale for even having that. Because obviously someone had to think about it.
Yeah,
which is also odd because who would even think about pulling a goalie in a 3-on-3 overtime?
Yeah. Essentially, then, your power play, but then
to add on that, and if they lose, they don't get a point.
So you're technically, getting an advantage,
right,
numbers wise, but then you're still screwed if you get scored on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, part of me feels they shouldn't lose that extra point.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Because it's so rare too.
It's super rare. And, it's the first time I think it's happened ever.
The team still made it to overtime.
If you battle enough to. Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know. We do that. Let's I don't know.
We thought Washington was going to do it against the Sens because they needed that point, right?
Yeah.
They needed the 2 points. So everyone's like, are they going to do it? But they never got the puck. So we never found
There you
out.
go. That's
But,
how you
yeah.
get out of it.
Yeah. So they did get the 1 point against the Sens. But yeah, Minnesota, they did it twice. Once they scored.
Yep.
Once they got scored on. And yeah. So I don't know if that's a risk anybody's really going to take anymore, but it's definitely interesting to see though the goalie pulling in overtime. That'd be something interesting to see live. Because let's say, for example, that although if you pull the goalie and the other team gets the penalty, you get a 5-on-3. Or 5-on-3? Yeah, 5-on-3. 5-on-3, maybe even a 6-on-3, depending on what happens with the rules. I don't know. If you pull the goalie, then you get a penalty. Because if you take 2 penalties in overtime, it automatically goes to 5-on-3, right?
You're right.
And then when that player comes back, it's a 5-on-4 until the whistle goes, and then it goes back to 3-on-3. So I don't know. That's actually interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah. Something to ponder and research for later.
Maybe.
But yeah. Anyway, Minnesota tried it. Worked once, failed once. And yeah, they didn't get the point for the ones that they failed. So definitely something cool that I didn't know, and I guess you didn't know till now.
Nope.
And now we know. Okay. Honestly, I don't really think we have anything else today. Just look forward to this week, the games, see what happens.
Yep.
Florida, Tampa, and Habs. I'm going to say we lose to Florida, win Tampa, and beat the Habs, so we go 2-1 this week. What do you think?
I'll go 1-1-1.
Oh, okay, 1-1-1.
We're going to lose to Florida.
Yeah.
OT loss against Tampa,
Okay.
and then a win against Montreal.
Yeah. And if we do beat Montreal, that's 9 games in a row where we beat them. So, yeah, let's go Sens. Beat them Habs, if nothing else.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if my mood changes, tank commander.
put the helmet on, and there you go. Awesome, cool. Well, that's great, Peter. This was a fun episode. To do it live like this is always fun because we can, just bounce each other's ideas off each other without the screen freezing up on us.
Yeah.
And it flows nicely. Okay. Just I guess final thoughts for this episode is same old. Last 4 or 5 games here. Like you always say, bring the effort. Don't get blown out.
Hopefully don't get scored on the first 2 goals. Let's add that now.
Yeah. Hopefully.
That's out there. Might as well.
21 games. That's crazy, man. That's a quarter of the season you're getting scored on the first 2 shots. That's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we don't get scored on the first 2 minutes in the next 4 to 5 games. And
that progress.
Progress, yeah. And make sure don't give up. Like, don't stop playing.
Yeah. Just
because the season's over. Just go till the end, fight till the end. And hopefully this time we actually bring it towards the next season, right?
Yeah.
So we can actually start to see that sliver of light from the sun, from this huge 7-year moon.
Yeah. It'll depend on how the offseason goes, what moves.
Yeah, the moves,
the coach. We'll see what management does.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big off season for the Sens.
It'll be this new ownership, new management's first off season, so that'll be big.
First off season. Hopefully we do see the summer of sales. Maybe we'll sign a goalie, sign a right-hand D-man, and get some help up front too. Bottom 4, we talked about this last episode.
Yep.
We need a bottom 4 guy there to solidify. And then, move forward, start seeing the sliver of sun to eventually, I think, what would you consider the full sun? Playoffs or the cup?
Going all in.
All in? The cup? Okay. For me, I think it'll be playoffs, the first sun, and then the second sun would be.
What is this? Star Wars?
Yeah, it's Star Wars. The second sun would be all in.
That's fair.
I think we just got to get rid of that playoff thing once and for all.
Yeah, that's the first that definitely help. We'll get out of that We'll get out of that trap that the team has been in. We don't want to end up like another Buffalo where it's
they've been eliminated already. So that's 12 years.
They're just in this perpetual rebuild where they get close, but still can't quite get there, and then they've got to try to do it all again.
Can you imagine being Jeff Skinner? Like, I played 1,000 games, never seen a playoff game in his life.
He's had 1,000 games.
1,000 games, yeah.
Crap.
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
I forgot how long he's been in the league.
And Buffalo got eliminated. So 12 years in a row now.
Yeah, that's
crazy. So let's not do that, boys. Come on, Sens.
Yeah.
7 is the most. Next year we gotta
see these guys in the playoffs. Just love to see Brady, Sandy.
Imagine Brady in the playoff season. If you think 16 hits was a lot, he's gonna hit like 25 people in one game every playoff game. So here's to the future. Bottoms up, and hopefully the moon moves out of the sun, the darkness goes away, and we can see some light. And and like I always say, keep on believing, or don't stop believing. Keep on keeping on. And any final thoughts from you, sir, or just the old "Go Sens Go"?
Go Sens Go.
There you go. Go Sens Go, folks.
That was the No Timers podcast. Make sure to stay tuned every week for a new episode. Thanks for listening.